Hey, Hope City Youth, we got this cool opportunity to interview 4 special guests. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Paul and Josh, Katie, and Glenn. So Paul, if you don't mind, just explain what you do. What do you do for the Carrie's Influence?
I am a musician, and I have been hustling relentlessly since 2010. Essentially, and I've been doing really well for the last 10 years now. Just doing music. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Josh, what about you?
I'm also a musician. I do production as well. I do writing for myself and for other artists, and just kind of help people find their sound, and kind of working on my own as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Katie, what kind of content do you create?
I create Christian content. I talk about the Lord and just glorify Him on a toxic app like TikTok. I just thought I could make a breath of fresh air for somebody who comes across my videos.
Very cool. And Glenn, what about yourself?
I'm a painter. I like to paint and draw, and I've mostly been posting just on Instagram, not on really the other ones. I think I might have a few posts on the other platforms, but
cool.
yeah, and that's my passion, is just drawing, painting every day, and putting all kinds of weird art out there.
Nice, weird art. That's cool. Did you experience a big break with your art? Was there something that was there a moment that you sold something, or it got a lot of likes?
It seemed to be. There was a time, I remember it was about probably 5 years ago, when the Instagram put the popular page algorithm in, and I'm not sure why, but mine started going on there, and I don't know how it happened, but it was fairly organic, and it would just get enormous numbers of followers every day, and it was just because of the algorithm. So that was kind of the biggest leap on it,
That's crazy. Just an algorithm and how that works. Just you can gain notoriety overnight. Josh, what about you? Was there a moment that you had a big break?
It's been more of a gradual build. It's been something that every year has been just a little bit more than the year before. This year, actually, I had a song on a Netflix show, and I won a national songwriting competition. So I think, as far as big breaks go, that was probably as far as I've gone so far, but it's just been more of a gradual build throughout the years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, Katie, you have a pretty large following on TikTok, which is exciting. Was your idea always to get a large following?
No, I was kind of just going in my God time one day, and I realized that my social media platform was all about glorifying myself and not about God. And so I downloaded TikTok not thinking anything of it, and I like talking, so I thought I'd make a couple of videos here and there, and I never thought that the Lord would produce so much fruit from me being obedient for Him calling me to talk on TikTok, but He did, which is cool.
Very cool.
So cool.
Now, you talked a lot about the Lord being a part of your content on TikTok. You'd say that faith is a huge aspect in everything that you do in the content-wise?
Yeah, I mostly talk about things that aren't really talked on the Sunday morning service, which I think is why I have such a large following, because I don't really shy away from the topics that some pastors may not feel comfortable or want to talk about in front of the congregation. And I think that's what makes me kind of different than other Christian content creators, which is cool.
Very cool. Paul, what about yourself? Does faith play a role in some of the content you create? If not, what inspires you?
Yeah, no, it's everything. It's the core of who I am, and so my approach to music has always been, there's so many really hurting people out there, and I'm one of them. We all are. We're all, we all need something to carry us, and everyone is choosing something, and so and I'm out there all the time, and I see it all the time, and so my approach to music is I want to serve and love people, and I think that's the best approach to anything in life, and so it is the core of my everything, and it manifests itself in music because that's my gift. Yeah.
That's so exciting. A lot of people, use their gifts either for themselves and, you know, like you said, serving others. It's a beautiful thing. Quite rewarding, I can imagine.
Oh, it's it's unbelievable.
Very exciting. Glenn, what about yourself as an artist? What inspires you? Is it just faith, or is it, you know, pictures of nature? What gets you going?
Definitely nature would be a big one. I'm not a super big faith guy, but I have definitely get a lot of influence from thinking philosophically about issues. So, for example, I've always wondered whether God existed or not. It's something my whole life I've wondered. And so in my art, I try to put in elements where you wonder, was that created or is that accidental? And I feel like that's one of the most important questions that we have in life. You know, it's got to be one of the top 10 questions of all time are we created? Or do we happen by accident? And what does that mean? Like, how does that spill out into your life? And then in terms of like, I totally agree with what Paul said, is there's so many people out there that are just struggling and hurting. And so if the art can do anything, people can tap into it, like, and get inspired by the colors, or just get cheered up by something, you know, that could be a funny part to it or whatever. Anything that can be inspired that way, I think, is fantastic. But and in terms of the faith side of it, I don't think I have tons in there, but there might be some in there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, very cool. That's exciting that you find things that inspire you. It doesn't always have to be one niche or one specific item. It's, you know, this beauty where it is helping people, like you said, Paul, where, you know, you serve people through your art and through your talents and even through your story, Katie, which is exciting. Josh, I'd love to ask you a question. If you know, what do you want to be known for? A lot of us as influencers, whether it's a large following or just in the area of leading a group, we want to be known as either the funny guy or the talented musician. What's something you want to be known for?
You know, honestly, I thought about this a lot. I think just someone with integrity, I think, is really important to me. You know, there's a lot of influencers in the world right now, and a lot of them are influencing people in negative ways. They may not see it, but they manifest in negative ways, and they influence people to put their value in things that are kind of, you know, fragile and not, you know, lasting. And so I think for myself, one of the big things that I try to do is always, you know, point to God, point to a higher purpose for people to put their meaning in. And yeah, just being someone who could be a positive role model, I think, is something that I'm always trying to figure out how to do. And I'm not perfect at it, but it's something that I'm constantly striving to learn more how to do. So
yeah, that's beautiful. Being a good, not only influencer, but someone who carries with integrity. That's very noble. Paul, what about yourself? Is there something you want to be known for? Sorry.
And I was like, what on earth do I want to be known for? And it's like, for me, that's not a question that I ask as much as I try to get away from what am I going to be known for, as much as I'm a breath, I'm a vapor, and my life is done. And so I want to point people to the thing that will be known forever. And so it's like, but I don't know how to say that. It's just, I want to get away as much as I can from this temporary short existence. I want to myself see things as they are eternally, and point people to that as well.
Yeah, being known for more than just the temporary, but showing the eternal. It's very cool. Katie, I'd love to kind of pick your brain. You know, with being on TikTok, it is known as a more toxic and kind of time drain of a social media app. But with that, you know, how do you deal with some of the negativity that people post either on your posts, or how do you navigate things being said about you?
Something the Lord's really taught me, like throughout this kind of gaining followers and getting more hate and just even like losing friends and even family members, because I started being so bold about my faith and stuff, is that they're just as much as a sinner as I am, and the difference is I have a relationship with God. And so even if somebody does leave a hate comment or someone says something mean or negative about me, about that video, that was still a minute they learned about Jesus when they couldn't have before. Even if it was to make a bad comment about me and my character, even about God, they still learned and they still listened, and maybe that seed was planted there that I don't know how the Lord's gonna water it one day. And so I just think we all got to give people grace, because God gives us grace every single day. And he's really been teaching me how to be patient and have grace and recognize people are in need of Jesus, and that's why I'm doing this. And it's not for myself, so.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. You're kind of seeing and understanding where they're coming from and hoping that, something beautiful blossoms out of content. And, you can take the heat and then you can still just hopefully pray for them. That's awesome. I was wondering if, as an artist, Glenn, do you receive a lot of negative feedback too? Or if it is, do you kind of just brush it off and keep going? Or?
Yeah, you get the odd one, but not a ton. I think a lot of people are, with art, they see it as something it's not as polarized as politics, religion, and certain other things. A lot of people, if they can sense that you're trying hard, there's some beauty there. I get some of it, don't really like some of it, they might just ignore it. You just tune it out. Whereas on something like these more polarized topics like politics, people get really fired up and start putting the angry comments, But I got some of it. But you get some, but then you also get the other is just unbelievable, like random messages from people around the world where they're like, this really helped me on this one day, or something like that, and I'm like, cool. I had no idea. It's like you never know where it's gonna go.
That's so cool. Yeah, you never know. It could be just a domino effect. Hopefully either your art or your TikTok, even some of the songs, influences someone either to be more bold in asking some questions, where do we come from, or who created us. That's really noble that you guys are, each one of you, using your platform in a way that influences people, maybe even subtly or boldly, being like, hey, there's probably more to life than just gaining followers. There's more to life than just being famous. So if people wanted to follow you, what social media sites are you on, and how would they go about doing that? Paul?
I'm on all of them. I'm not on TikTok though. I'm not quite that cool yet. But like mostly Instagram and YouTube are my two big ones.
Awesome. Josh?
Cool. I'm also on everything. I just started the TikTok thing too.
No.
Follow you.
Yeah. So yeah, just Josh Sahanta on every platform.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Katie?
I'm just on Instagram and TikTok, and it's katie.patty with 2 Y's on each side.
Great, thanks. Glenn?
I'm pretty much just Instagram. I think I do have an account on those other ones, but I don't really use them. Yeah, just Instagram. That's about it.
Very cool. And one last question before we go. If someone wanted to follow in similar footsteps, either a musician or an artist, or even just being bold in their faith and, talking about topics that aren't always talked about on a Sunday morning, what advice would you give them? Katie?
That this world is not our home. So at the end of the day, we're going to get hate for our faith. We're going to get, it talks about in the Bible how we're going to get hated on for our faith. But at the end of the day, this world isn't our home, and my worth is not in Jesus, or my worth is in Jesus. Jeez, my worth is not in this world is what I'm meaning to say. My worth is in God, so anybody can say anything they want. Anybody from high school can say anything they want, or even my family, but my worth doesn't depreciate or anything, because my worth is in God. And when you have your worth in Christ, and when you realize this world is not our home, and that really on this life, a lot of it is meaningless when it talks about in eternity, but the most important choice is who you serve, and I choose to serve God.
Very cool. So saying if someone were to follow, just be like, don't follow me, follow Christ.
Yeah.
As I follow him. That's beautiful. Josh, what about yourself?
I think there's two things that I've always really stood by is just be a nice person. You know, there's nothing more powerful than you know, treating the go-to is treating the janitor the same way you treat the CEO. You know, just always respect and be kind to people regardless of their position. And the other thing is just hard work. There's no shortcuts. That's one thing that I had to learn is there's no shortcut for practice and just dedication. And the more you do that, the better you'll get, and the better you get, the more opportunities that will open up. So just keep hustling.
Keep hustling.
Yeah.
I like that. Paul, with yourself.
Literally what he said. like approach your whatever you want to do with servant. Like I'm there to serve, and like that's what it is. Like when you treat the janitor like the CEO, you're both equal, and you're serving them, and there's no shortcut around. There's no shortcut around practice and hours at work. There's nothing you can do to be competent at what you do other than really, really work at it. Yeah.
Awesome. Keep hustling.
Yeah.
And Glenn, yourself?
I think you guys pretty much nailed it. The only thing I would add is I honestly don't believe likes and followers and things like that is very important. Honestly, it's like if you say life is like a vapor, then that stuff's like less than whatever a vapor would be. It's all it is I guess a platform or a tool where you can express an idea, you know. So it's like if someone had a huge amount of money, fantastic, but that doesn't make you a good person. But you could use that money to help a lot of people, or you could use it for whatever you wanted to, right? But it's not like in and of itself a great thing. It's more or less a tool, you could say, you know.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out. I'm so glad that we got to get all four of you. I honestly thought that wasn't going to happen, either scheduling or whatnot, but this is so exciting. Hope City, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep watching the videos. Keep an eye out for the Easter eggs. There might be one in this video. You don't know. But yeah, keep rocking on, and hopefully see you on Tuesdays or Sundays. The Easter egg today is the.